Hello guys, and welcome to a game called the Uxchilan Uxchilan Horror. This is a game made for the Asylum Jam. It is a interactive horror game where you basically read. So that's what I'm going to do. The bulk of our equipment has come with us by boat, dragged on rudimentary rafts packed into the long, narrow fishing skiffs that the locals use to travel between the riverside villages. We've chosen to make land at a small natural bay with a convenient beach of soft sand and have moored the boats here while the laborers unpack and carry our equipment to the nearby base camp. Harriet has, of course, rushed off into the jungle immediately. I wasn't overjoyed with the prospect of her navigating the ruins alone, but know from bitter experience of our previous explorations that protesting would have done little to sway her decision. I will catch up with her later. We've passed Mikiol, one of the locals with a better grasp of English here, to oversee the unpacking and to guard the boats. Talk to Miguel. Senor. Anything to report? No, senor. Okay. Um. We've chosen a good spot for base camp, a little verge that looks over the ruins. I'm fortunate that my tent was one of the first to be erected along with all of my personal effects inside. There is a small stream here for fresh water and plentiful flora nearby that the university's botanists will no doubt be kept busy with. Gibson and his team from the university are here studying the local flora. They have already found a distinct species of tree that has piqued their interest, and are talking enthusiastically about its classification. I don't wish to disturb them, and I have enough to be getting on with myself. Jefferson, Matthews, Archie, and Cook, lecturers from the university covering religion, culture, history, and architecture, are here relaxing at the edge of the stream. I briefly considered joining them, but I should at least have a gander at the ruins first. An impressive vista of jungle and ruins sweep up before me. I can count 7 distinct structures that await my exploration. 2 pyramids, one larger than the other 3 temples, a courtyard, and an indistinct platform. My tent is small but efficient. I notice that the mosquito net hasn't arrived yet. Let's hope the blighters don't eat Harriet and I alive while we sleep. I'm glad to see my desk set up as I had instructed. However, a map of the area, crudely drawn by one of the locals, a few hastily developed photographs taken in the makeshift darkroom as we waited for the rest of our equipment to arrive behind us, and a framed photo of Harriet and I. Photographing Harriet and I was taken at the Dean's party, thrown in honor of our expedition in London the night before we left the jungle. Okay. Go to Lib. The Vicarious German friend of the university chair is already hard at work ordering his men about. I don't particularly like the fellow, but he came highly recommended as a workforce motivator. Let's say hi. I'd rather not. Yeah, okay. The smaller pyramid sits in the shadow of its greater brother, and is indeed both less imposing and less grand a structure. Part of the ground has fallen away, and 2 sides on two sides, revealing a connected tunnel that runs underneath the building. One face of the pyramid is in fantastic condition, though relatively uneroded and untouched by the jungle's all-encompassing greenery. Cool. If any of you guys seen The Pyramid, that was quite the movie. It wasn't good, but it was interesting. And then there's another movie here. Let's look at the wall first. The southern wall of the Leicester Pyramid seems almost untouched by the erosion of age and weather. Its windows are all perfectly straight-edged, and the stones that form the wall's patterns are free from the jungle's touch. I shall send a team of workers here with paper and chalk as soon as possible. I shall bring the photography equipment also. I am confident and excited that this is just one of many such treasures this excavation site will hold. Cool. Let's look for here. Bellamy. I forget his profession, for he is not from our own university. Stands shovel in hand at the eastern cave mouth, and is shouting through to Farnsworth at the western mouth. The cave is too long for daylight to penetrate, and the oil lamps have not yet arrived from the boats. Let's say hi. I wouldn't want to disturb him. Okay, let's go to the western one. Farnsworth, an old miner and great expert on all things mineralogical, stands here with one of the local villagers. They have moved some equipment into the cave mouth and await the oil lamps to arrive from the boats. Let's see if we can say it to him. Okay, fine. We're insociable people. Let's go to the Great Pyramid. Of the pyramids present at the site, this is the largest by far, and the most intact. This is perhaps the most exciting find of this region of jungle. One face is mostly overgrown with the long, tenacious jungle vines. Our preliminary inspection of the pyramid showed an exquisite carved structure on another face, and we delegated a team of workers immediately to begin cleaning the foliage away. The pyramid has a flat upper surface upon which sits a single small building, and groved with symmetrical patterns and with several small windows and doorways. Since we're going to be able to look at everything, we'll just look at everything. The structure of the pyramid on this side is all but invisible behind walls of thick plant growth, vines, and underbrush, though I'm confident that careful removal of the floor will yield a decent not snowfill, come on, you can't read today. Stone work beneath. Hall, a member of the university team, a professor of geology, if I'm not mistaken, is there collecting rock samples. Let's leave Hall alone. Let's look at the carved structure. The typical wide-stepped structure on one side of the pyramid has been sacrificed in favor of a steeper, more narrow stepped design, and one area of the center of the face is perfectly vertical. It is into the vertical surface that a large stone face has been carved and decorated about with concentric shapes and geometrical patterns. A flat pathway and stone steps at either side suggest that this was the presenting and most often approached face of the pyramid. Now we can examine the face. Oh, we already looked at the face, never mind. Let's inspect the building. The workers have a makeshift ladder in place to ascend the great structure, but I still find myself sweating by the time I reach the pinnacle. The building atop the pyramid has several doors and windows, but alas are blocked with rocks and rubble. Gee, I shall have to curb my enthusiasm and wait for this area to be cleared. Let's see if we can say hi to Hall. Nope. You can't say it to anybody. Let's look at the temple. This is the largest temple at the site, with 2 floors, unless the upper is mostly ruined with only one narrow side wall remaining intact. The lower floor holds regularly spaced doorways, just like the other temple walls, but the patterns surrounding them are different and are typical and atypical of what I'd expect from this particular civilization and period. An exterior staircase to the upper floor holds interesting carvings. We're gonna look at the wall. Most of the facing stones have crumbled away from the lower wall and litter the floor where workers await the barrows to arrive from the bush to begin clearing up. I feel the damage looks worse than it actually is, and some patient skill will reface the walls to great effect. The patterns above the doorways, however, are what catches my eye. Angular spirals and strange multi-limbed creatures adorn the doorways and wall facings, unlike anything I've seen at similar excavation sites in the area. One of the locals leans against the doorway, watching me with detached interest. Can we say it to him? I have nothing to say. Okay, fine. Let's just keep... My dog is barking. Okay. Where were we? The exterior staircase is mostly intact, and the decorations that ascended with the walls are both beautiful and odd. I have never seen parapets on stairways at temples of this era and local, yet alone decorated in such a fashion with the oddly engraved and irregularly spaced stone blocks. Something about the patterns in their organization gives me the distinct impression of movement, as if some puzzle lives within, and a knowing hand might be able to turn and slide the individual bricks to form a more comprehensive structure. That... The doorways along the lower floor of the temple all lead into a single passageway that spans the width of the structure. There are further passageways inside, but they will need to be unblocked before I can explore their mysteries. It sounds like we're going to be here a while. This central area is an distinct structure that I can only best describe as a platform. The ground here is regularly elevated to about a foot, and crumbling walls with various adorations frame this periphery. Addis, a freshman in architecture from the university, is inspecting the structure. Since we're unsociable, we're not going to talk to anybody. Examine the walls. The wall is unusually short here, but I see no evidence of substance in the area. The low doorway spaces are decorated with humanoid shapes and swirling carvings. Again, Addis seems to be following us. Whatever. A large stone carved into a snake head rests on the floor, its master's tongue broken under its own weight. Aww. 2 women from the local village rest on the smooth stone while waiting for work orders. The snake head points to the south. Let's just see, out of curiosity, if Addis said something. Do these structures seem disconnected to you? Some are typical, of course, but others... Have you been to the southern temple? Snakes are only present on some of the buildings, and not all of them. As I'd expect, the decorations are also inconsistent. I have noticed, but I don't know what to make of it yet. You're right. We've only just arrived. It's too late for me to be drawing assumptions. Indeed. Now we're moving on to the Eastern Temple. The long, low walls of the Eastern Temple are decorated with triangular patterns and regularly shaped doorways. This is very typical of other ruins we've explored in this area, and in keeping with what we've come to expect from this civilization. There's a lone worker here leaning against one of the pillars, watching me casually. The natives I've noticed are quietly curious about us. There is an elevated building at the back of the temple with a single doorway visible from this angle. One of the doors to the far end of the wall is partially covered by rubble. The East Temple stands at the furthest edge of the complex and has a single elevated structure on one side that overlooks the flat vegetation beckoned roof of the building below. A single doorway at the back of the building would have granted me access to its inner confines, but rocks and rubble block my entrance. I shall see what lies within once the workers have cleared the way through. Sheesh. We have a lot of work to do. Rubble from the collapsing wall has rendered one of the doorways. The bullet of a tunnel. You put one twice there. It's large enough to accommodate my stooping form, and I creep through, but it leaks only to the other side of the temple with nothing further interest within. We'll talk to the worker in a moment. I step through one of the shallow doors and find myself in a long, narrow passage that spans the width of the temple proper. There is another passage at the far end that leads at a square angle from this one. The furthest passage is blocked. The worker looks away as I approach. The English skills of the natives are somewhat lacking, and since I have nothing of any importance to say, it would be a waste of time to attempt discourse at this point. I continue exploring. Right, we'll be back, guys, to read the rest of this.